The question arises, who is doing all of this? That is, who is creating or using all of this different malware that we have discussed? The worms, the viruses, the rootkits, the advanced persistent threats. Well, they're hackers. But we have different categories of hackers, and so we want to discuss those different categories now. We have, for example, white hat hackers versus the black hat hackers. And these are very true categorizations. The white hats are persons who have been given authorization to conduct penetration scans. They have a written agreement, perhaps with a company, and that details the type of scans that they will run. It stipulates how the information they obtained can and cannot be used. And so because they have that legal authorization, they are white hat hackers. But the black hats have no legal authorization, and they are hacking for nefarious purposes. They want to do something bad to an organization. Now, we do also have what are termed gray hats. And gray hats also, like black hats, do not have legal authorization. However, they tend to discover weaknesses in a system and then alert a company that they have found that weakness, or they publish it. But they tend not to use what they have found for a nefarious purpose, whereas the black hat certainly has that as an objective. Now, we want to talk about black hats in a bit more detail because within that category of black hat hackers, we have categorizations that go down even further. And so we want to look at that. What type of attackers are actually going up against organizations and individuals? We have script kiddies. Now, script kiddies are inexperienced hackers. They have been introduced to the hacking environment. They may be using a lot of automated tools. They are tools that allow hackers to crack passwords, to create viruses, and they may have been introduced to those tools, and so they've started using them. Electronic activists or hacktivists, they may be a bit more skilled, but they are hacking for a particular purpose. They're interested in particular issues, and that is why they're hacking organizations. Organized crime, they're the opposite of the hacktivists or the electronic activists. They're doing it for the money. So, for example, the spam that we receive, this is organized crime. There is a monetary benefit to all of that spam. They actually, what's very interesting about spam is that it does lead to purchases. Not many, percentage-wise, but because so much is sent out, their millions of dollars are made using spam. Nation states. Now we get into a discussion about those advanced persistent threats and those rootkits, that type of malware that's really advanced, that takes not just one programmer or five, but perhaps a dozen or more to create, advanced persistent threats and rootkits. Well, nation states can fund that. They can put together the resources necessary to create tools like that can cause a lot of damage. Then we have malicious insiders. Those are persons who are working within an organization who may have become disgruntled. They can include even contractors working within an organization. There have been stories of contractors who would create a bad event so that they would be called back and fix it and possibly be hired. So they would sabotage their client in order to fix the problem. So there was one example. There was a man named Greg Chung who spied for China while employed at Boeing, and he provided China with documents pertaining to military and spacecraft. So malicious insiders can be particularly damaging. Competitors are also corporate rivals who also, like nation states, may have access to resources and may use it in order to hurt a competitor.